Hello everyone, this is Andy from the Pixel Pub. I'm here to talk about the new PlayStation games we gotten in here recently. Let's go. Okay, just a handful of games here this time. I've done this in the past where I do big gaming hauls and it's all sorts of stuff. It's PlayStation games, NES games, Super Nintendo games, it's Switch games, it's all over the place. I've decided to just break them down per console, so people who want to see what they like can see what they like. And people who don't want to watch PlayStation videos or Switch videos, they can move on. Let's talk about some PlayStation games that I picked up recently, or these are what I'm going to start with here is two that Kathy picked up recently from a retro game shop close by called Hidden Block Games. They're super cool. This is Atelier Liddy and Suel. I had to look up how to pronounce those names just before starting this video. Kathy got into the Atelier series with Atelier Ryza on the Switch. I forgot to say the subtitle for this game. The Alchemist and the Mysterious Paintings. So this one appears to have two young lady protagonists there, if the cover is to be believed. But yeah, she got into Atelier Ryza, really liked it up until the very end, where she said it had too much crafting, but it wasn't enough to deter her to want to play the rest of the games. I think she had a good time overall. So we saw this there, and she kind of freaked out, and she was just Googling and seeing if this game was any good, and seems like it is. I don't know. I played a little bit of Ryza on the PC. I bought it around the same time that we got the Switch copy, and because I was expecting the Switch copy to run like garbage, and I was going to see what it looked like on Steam, and it was on sale, so I figured I'd give it a shot. But I didn't realize when I started playing it that it was a turn-based RPG. I thought it'd be more action-y, or I don't know what I expected really, but I just wasn't in the mood for a turn-based RPG at the moment, which is crazy now because all this year I've been playing as turn-based RPGs. But yeah, Atelier Liddy and Suel, The Alchemist and the Mysterious Paintings. All right, speaking of Atelier games, this was actually still sealed. This is Atelier Sophie, The Alchemist, singular, and the Mysterious Books, or Mysterious Book, also singular. This one's still sealed. Also got this from Hidden Block Games. They were sitting right side by side. Kathy was going through different stuff, looking around. She was trying to figure out what she wanted to get, and I had saw these two. And I was like, well, you know, she liked Ryza for what she played of it until the very end. Maybe she will be interested in this, and she kind of freaked out. I wasn't expecting it, and she got both of them for a good deal. I don't think they were expensive at all. They were, you know, they're old PS4 games, so not super expensive. It says it's not always about saving the world. And we got, who's this? Plachta and Sophie. And yeah, it looks like one of those games. I don't know. It's just a long running series. I think at least to the PS2 era. I know I've seen them on the shelves of like GameStop and EB Games back in the day and stuff like that. And I was like, man, anime cover is attractive. When you look at the back of it, you're like, what the fuck is going on in this game? I don't know. But yeah, she's on that kick. Okay, the rest of the stuff is stuff I picked out. I did. And stuff I have been messing around with a little bit lately. First, I haven't messed around with yet. I bought it on sale on Amazon. It was like 20 bucks. I had watched a couple of reviews, and I think people generally like shrug. It's like, yeah, that's okay. But for 20 bucks, I wanted to give it a try. That's Valkyrie Elysium. It is part of the Valkyrie Profile series that Square has been putting out since the PlayStation 1 era. I have a couple of these. I got one on the PS2 and one on the DS. And they're all kind of weirdly different games. This one's an action RPG, I think similar to the East series. I saw some comparisons to that, but not as good. But if you give me a, you know, on the good side of mediocre action RPG, I think I'll have a good time. So I went ahead and I spent the 20 bucks and I'm gonna give it a shot. And I opened it already because I don't know if anybody else has this problem, you know, ordering PlayStation games or whatever. When they come in the mail and you get the dreaded loose disc, like you can shake it and it just makes that noise that I fucking hate. It drives me crazy. And I immediately have to open it and put the disc back in the thing. Like, no, the disc is precious. It needs to be okay. But yeah, I'm hoping to give this a shot when I don't have so much to play. Like I say in all these videos, my backlog is shameful. I can't stop buying games. But, you know, for 20 bucks, might as well throw another one on the pile. Okay, this is also something that I got for like 20 bucks off Amazon. part of a long run series that I read about in like magazines on the internet back in the day that I never really played, and it is Sakura Wars. Sakura Wars. I got the PEGI version, the European version, because the US version was kind of steep, and I don't know if this game's any good. And I was just like, I want to try it. It's a long-running series, Japanese RPG. I want to play it, but I believe the older ones were like turn-based strategy games. This one seems to be more of an action thing. I played a little bit of it. I think I played up to the point where they're going to tutorialize me on the actual combat of the game. There was a lot of build-up because it is like a visual novel adjacent. Like you're doing a lot of talking. It's just like the harem of women and stuff like that. It's kind of very romancy. But I'd always heard about it, and I was like, well, I want to give it a try. It looks pretty cool, graphics-wise. Stands out like with the popping colors and the character designs and stuff like that. But like I said, I played a little bit of it, and then other stuff came along that was more important to me, so I went with that. So, like I said, put this with Valkyrie Elysium, where it's like, one day. Okay, next is the game that I picked up from Hidden Block Games, the same time that Kathy got the Atelier games. And it's Soul Hackers 2. Now, this is a used version on the PlayStation 5, and it was $12. I followed the reviews and stuff of this game on this game when they first came out, and they were not great. A lot of people didn't like it. But I just know that it is part of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and I really like the Persona games. And Kathy's dabbled in a little bit of other ones like Digital Devil Saga and the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games like Shin Megami Tensei 5. So when I saw this for $12, I was like, I just kind of can't not get that. You know what I mean? I think that's $12. Soul Hackers 2. I've never played the first one. This one seems different. I think this is more of an action RPG route, and it looks, I don't know, the art looks mega generic. It was $12, but I haven't popped it in, I haven't installed it or anything. It was there, and I just have an affinity for Atlus games. I just want to see what kind of crazy stuff they come up with, even if it's not great. But like their reviews, their personal opinions. Maybe they didn't jive with a lot of people. It might jive with me. Who knows? For $12, I'm willing to give that a shot. Well, speaking of jiving with games, this next game is a game that came out this year. I was very, very excited for it because I was a fan of the previous one that Square put out. It is Visions of Mana. I played about 30-ish hours, a little less than 30 hours of this game. I can't remember my exact count. And I was really liking it at the beginning, but it just lost me at some point. It kind of became boring, which is a fucking shame because it's a beautiful game. Some of the most beautiful, like, graphics technically meets art together. Like, there was a couple of scenes of just like standing over a vista, and you could see like, fields of flowers being harvested or whatever, and it just looks like a painting, but it's not. It's a 3D rendered thing where you can go and interact with it. It was wild, but all the best graphics in the world just can't make a good game. It fell flat for me, which is a shame because I really like Trials of Mana. That was a game that 2020, it's one of my favorite games of the year, so I was super excited for this. Brand new game. It's not a remake of an older game, but man, what a bummer. It's a bummer. I don't like it when games are flat out bad. It's like you can say, fuck that, you throw it on the pile and forget about it. When a game's just kind of boring, it's just like, man, y'all couldn't just do something else. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Just didn't land. Sorry, Visions of Mana. You tried. Okay, next up was a game I was also super excited for this year. It's also an Atlus game. Another Atlus game. And it's a game that I just beat last night as I'm recording this, and that's Metaphor ReFantazio. I believe it is from like a Persona adjacent team or the Persona team. I'm not sure, but it is very much Persona-esque. If you are a Persona fan and you're on the fence about this, having played through it, I could say confidently you should play this game because it's pretty damn good. Is it as good as Persona 5? No. But a lot of games aren't as good as Persona 5, so this is still really good. I might actually do a video this weekend talking about maybe further spoilers, thoughts about my thoughts on the game, because my overall thoughts of the game are very positive, but there are some complicated stuff. It's not the home run knockout 10 out of 10 that, you know, Persona 5 and 4 were for me. Like, I fucking love those games, but this is still really good. So if you are a fan of those style games, they do a ton of stuff right in this. It's fucking great. Metaphor ReFantazio, that final boss can suck my ass though. God damn. Okay, last game. Another game I was very excited for. I did a video at the beginning of this year where I talked about the games I was most excited for 2024, and Metaphor and Visions of Mana were up there. This game was not, because I just didn't know it was going to come out in 2024. And it did, and I'm very excited to play it. I'm a couple hours in, still getting tutorialized, and that is Ys 10 Nordics. I'm a late to the game Ys fan. I started really playing them. I played the first Ys game on the Virtual Console because people talk about, you know, it being pretty good. They got available, and the music, they talk about music being great. It's a Falcom thing. Their games are known for their music, sometimes more than their being a fun game. But, you know, I messed around with that Ys Book 1 and 2. It was for the TurboGrafx on the Virtual Console. And, you know, that game is interesting. Maybe if I'd played it back in the day, I would get more into it. But it was like, I remember people on internet forums back in the day calling it the football RPG, because you didn't have an attack button. You just ran into enemies, and you had to like line it up so you're not running directly into them. You kind of like off to the side. So that's how you did damage. And also there was no like invincibility frames on anything or on your character. So if you fucking ran into an enemy, your health would just go down like you're getting shot with a fucking machine gun. It was insane. It was hard. I did beat the first one, but I did not beat the second one. So that was my Ys experience up until I had actually purchased for Kathy Ys Memories of Celceta on the Vita. I bought it digitally. It was one of those things. It was around the time for her birthday or for like Christmas. I would just randomly buy a digital game on like the handhelds, mostly the Vita, and, you know, hand her the Vita and say, hey, I got this soon for you. You can play it. And she didn't really jive with it, but boy, I did. I loved it. I played the snot out of it, and I beat it. And then I played Ys 8, and Ys 8's one of my favorite games of all time now. I got it on multiple consoles. Got the soundtrack on vinyl. It was amazing. That's when I fell in love for real with Ys 8, the series. And I played Ys 9. Ys 9's still really good. Not as good as 8. So Ys 10, hoping to capture that 8 fun, but I can already tell there's some issues I'm having with it. Like I said, I've only played a few hours, but the character movement in Ys 8 and 9 was like divine. Like you move so fast, it's so spot on. Like everything feels so snappy, so smooth, so incredible. Like dodging, attacking, all that stuff. In this game, Adolf feels very heavy. As I'm playing right now, he kind of moves. He just feels very heavy. He's kind of slower. It's weird. I don't know why they would change that, because it worked so well in Ys 8 and Ys 9. I'm definitely gonna give it a chance, and I'm I don't know, maybe 60-70% confident that once I'm in the nitty gritty of it, I'm just playing the game, I won't even notice it. So hopefully that's the case. Like I said, I'm only like 2 or 3 hours in, still doing tutorial stuff, still getting a lot of cutscenes and stuff like that. But yeah, I freaking love Ys. I hope this lives up to the reputation that I have for Ys in my head, because what a good time. All right, breaking news, guys. Went out to the Walmart today, picked up some more PlayStation 5 games on clearance. Just picked them up today. Biscuit's leaving because he doesn't like me being loud, but I have to be loud for the video. Biscuit, you may want to be part of the video. Anyway, let's talk about the games. Okay, first is something I picked up for $9. It's a game I believe came out last year. It's Forspoken. Forspoken is a game released by Square Enix. It's kind of an open world game with kind of a unique movement system, like they call it magical parkour. Find your fight is what it says on the back. I don't know. But I think around the time it came out, it got some middling reviews, kind of mediocre game. I know that I saw that Vinny Caravella from Nextlander, he played through it. I think he kind of liked it, kind of, you know, it was what it is. And for $9, I will experience Is What It Is, especially with a open world game where, you know, they try to be big, you know, fancy with the graphics and their movement and all this other stuff. I'll give it a shot for $9. For real. That's Forspoken. Okay, next up is a game that Kathy picked out because I already played it on Xbox on the Game Pass when it first came out earlier this year, and that is Persona 3 Reload. This was also on clearance at Walmart for a different reason than Forspoken and some other games we picked up today. For whatever reason, this game was not sealed. It was used, I guess. I don't know. It did not have the shrink wrap on it. It had the big sticker directly on the thing. I had to clean it off. Kind of a nightmare, but it was pretty cheap for a game that just came out this year, and a damn good game at that. I don't know. Back when I used to work retail, I didn't work at Walmart, I worked at Target, and when we got stuff like this, any electronic stuff that was like returned, we didn't like put it back on sale. There was a company we had to send it to, and there was this whole process. I don't know how this got back on the shelf. It's weird, but we saw it, and the guy had the case open, and Kathy was looking at it. It's like, well, let's just get it, because Kathy does not want to play it on the Xbox. She's sitting right over there. She's shaking her head. No, she's not going to play it on the Xbox. And, you know, we want physical versions of really good games, and it's a really good game. I had a good time with it. It is still my least favorite Persona game. Still goes 4, 5, 3 for me, personally. But it was still fun. You know, the least favorite Persona game is still probably better than most of your favorite games, if I had to guess. I'm talking to you. You. Yes, you. But yeah, Persona 3 is really good. Glad to have it physically in the collection for real. And yeah, Kathy's going to play it probably sometime in the next, I don't know, 30 years. So. Okay, that's been the PlayStation games we've added to the collection here recently. If you have any suggestions of PlayStation games that I should pick up, be aware of based on the games that you see here, because we've definitely got a type of game that we like over here. Let me know in the comments. And please, you know, like and subscribe, all that stuff that people say on these videos. I've been Andy from the Pixel Pub. Peace out.